Eric, your piece this week, more bad news for Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
You and I always dance a fine line in our love story. I mean, again, it's hard to... I mean, all the stuff in your story, absolutely true. I guess, as I've said over and over again, though, unfortunately, these advertiser boycotts have hurt progressive radio, too. It's hurt everybody in radio because, advertisers are just staying away from radio in general. But, that being said, I mean, I have to say, particularly in your story, the special irony of Rush ending up on a lot of the stations they put progressive radio stations on, and we had a lot bigger ratings than he has now.
Right,
and that was always their thing about, liberal radio sucks, nobody's listening, blah, blah. Well, yeah, when we're on the pea shooter and you're on the 50,000 watt. And so now the story basically is he's losing all these 50,000 watt stations, right?
Right. Put you on WLS, see how your ratings are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, so he got bounced out of Indianapolis, a big talk station there after 22 years. That doesn't want him anymore. They're keeping conservative talk. They just don't want Rush. He's way too expensive. They've said they can't sell his show.
Well, that's, as you call it, his comically inflated $50 million a year syndication deal set to expire next year. And, clearly, trust me, I know the numbers in radio, and you can't afford those numbers on the kind of stations and revenue that you're getting.
No way. And so his contract is up next year, and my guess is he'll end up on Sirius. Because
like a Howard Stern kind of deal.
Yeah. His model absolutely doesn't work. So in Indiana, and here's the example. So Ray, he gets.
I work for significantly less than $50 million. I would do it for 43, 44.
Yeah.
So the question was, who else? So in the old days, if Rush left a station, everybody lined up. And everyone started courting him. Oh my gosh, come to our station, be the tent pole. You'll bring all the listeners in all day. We'll just count we'll count the money even though your show's really expensive. So he gets bounced off this Indianapolis station after 24 years, and it's crickets.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Nobody wants them.
Right.
Nobody's interested. So eventually iHeart, which, we'll call Clear Channel, which is what it is, they changed their name. So finally Clear Channel, which owns his syndication, they have to shoehorn him into this last place all sports radio station.
Right.
At 12 or 1400 on the AM dial. They're not even going to dress it up. And he got bounced off L.A. and San Francisco. They took these very
Boston, rumors in Chicago.
And dressed him up and put all new programming and said, oh, this is, Patriot Radio, the home of right-wing radio, and right-wing talk. In Indianapolis, they're just going to stick him on a sports station in the middle of the day and say, whatever.
Here's the line in your thing that is not at all relevant to Chris and I. Last year, he was bounced off a high-profile station in Los Angeles, shipped down the dial, and deposited on a has-been outlet, KEIB, that today has trouble securing a 1.0 rating.
True.
Chris, do you need me to get the frame thing on the wall about Stephanie Miller's show ranks #2 in Los Angeles with something a lot higher than a 1? Okay.
A heck of a lot. It was a heck of a lot higher.
Yeah, it was.
Right. So no one ever claimed people who run the radio business in America are geniuses, right?
Right.
And so they followed this myopic, liberal talk won't do any good. Oh, if it's only getting a 2 rating a year. A year later they switched to right-wing radio and it's getting a 0.6.
Right.
And
cut to me talking to you from my basement.
Yeah, exactly.
Where I had to build a studio at my own expense.
Exactly.
But let's not talk about that now.
Exactly. But again, for Limbaugh, it obviously started with the Sandra Fluke problem, and he's never recovered. Just like Glenn Beck never recovered on Fox from calling Obama a racist. He's gone other things, and he's gone online.
Yeah.
But for Limbaugh, and so we're seeing in Boston he's getting bounced again. It's crickets. Nobody wants him. One station told the Boston Globe, I've been offered the Rush Limbaugh show 4 times, and 4 times I've told them I'm not interested. But Clear Channel doesn't really have a last place station in Boston they can stick him onto, so he's going to end up in like Worcester or something, and 14 people in Boston might be able to hear his show.
Yeah.
So that's and there's still rumors in Chicago that he is going to get bounced off there.
Yeah.
And it happened in San Francisco and L.A. So that's his future.
I got to say, not to make this about me, because when would I ever do that, Eric? But this is how I always say, our audience is so amazing.
Yeah.
We've had now a #1 comedy tour in the country, #1 album, #1 happy hour was the #1 album. We'll see how my book does, but we are on a teeny tiny percentage of the reach that all these right-wing shows have, and yet, like you say, we're proving over and over again that there is an audience, and the American people agree with our issue, our issue, our
right,
stances.
So the liberals have the momentum. You have this amazing interactive audience, and Limbaugh is sitting there on these stations, with no interaction whatsoever. His ratings are going down. His listeners are dying off, and so that's. And he's getting paid $50 million a year.
Yeah.
But again, his formula doesn't work, and hopefully yours will.